Hello, this is Fahim. I'm excited to present our paper titled Do Integral Emotions Affect Trust? The Mediating Effect of Emotions on Trust in the Context of Human-Agent Interaction. Trust in automation is defined as the attitude that an agent will help achieve an individual's goals in a situation characterized by uncertainty and vulnerability. Trust is considered one of the most important factors that decide how users will use an automated system. Prior work has identified factors that influence users' trust. Among them, the most consistent one is reliability. High reliability is often associated with higher trust. Risk is another important factor. The majority of the prior work concludes that users' trust is inversely related to the associated risk. Recent works also identified anthropomorphism as an important factor affecting trust. Prior work noted that users exhibit higher trust and trust resilience while interacting with human-like systems compared to the machine-like ones. However, how these factors affect trust is not clear. Do they directly affect trust, or are there other intermediary variables that mediate their effect on trust? To find the answer to this question, we look at the interpersonal trust literature. Interpersonal trust literature identifies emotion as an essential factor affecting human-human trust. Prior work has found that positive emotions such as happiness, gratitude increase people's trust in others. On the other hand, negative emotions like anxiety and anger decrease trust. Prior work has identified two types of emotions that influence people's behavior in technology use. They are incidental emotions and integral emotions. Incidental emotions refer to an emotional state that influences users' decision making in a task, although the source of the emotion is unrelated. In contrast, the integral emotions are the emotions that generate and evolve while performing a task. In the current study, we focus on integral emotions. Motivated by the interpersonal trust literature, we pose our central research question: do integral emotions affect trust? In this purpose, we designed a 2 by 2 by 2 between group online study where independent variables are reliability, risk, and partner type. In this study, participants complete 5 rounds of target identification task. This is an online game we developed where a participant worked together with another partner to classify 20 images as dangerous or not dangerous vehicles. Vehicles with numbers on top are considered dangerous vehicles, whereas vehicles without numbers are not dangerous. Before each gameplay, the participant allocates a number of images to the partner. During the task, the participant and the partner work in parallel to classify their allocated images by clicking on a marker of the image, zooming in to inspect the image, and selecting the correct button. The performance is measured based on both the accuracy and the speed of the team. We manipulated the risk condition by varying the at-stake compensation for the task. Participants could earn a total of $5. However, if the low-risk condition participants failed to stand in the top 50% scoring teams, they would lose $1. In contrast, the high-risk condition participants would lose $3 if they did not stand in the top 50% scoring teams in their conditions. To manipulate the partner type, we used deception. In the human partner condition, we told participants that they would be working with another MTurk worker, but in reality, both conditions interacted with an automated agent. To ensure that the participants believed the human partner condition, we displayed a pre-recorded video of a member of our research team and asked the participants to share their video as well. However, we did not enforce it. The reliability condition had two levels. In the low reliability level, the agent correctly identified 60% of the images, whereas the high reliability agent correctly identified 90% of the images. We used the UAX scale to measure users' integral emotions. We measured users' trust perceptions using perceived trustworthiness characteristics items. We also asked manipulation check questions, demographic questions, and two personality trait instruments: trust propensity and risk propensity. At the beginning of the evaluation, we performed a confirmatory factor analysis to extract the relevant emotions. We found 4 major emotion factors, which are positive emotions, hostility emotions, anxiety emotions, and loneliness emotions. We measure trust on three primary characteristics of the trustee, which are influential in establishing trust relationships. The characteristics are ability, integrity, and benevolence. Ability relates to the perception of the trustee's skill, competencies, and task-related characteristics. Integrity refers to the trustee's actions related to the principles and values that are considered acceptable to the truster. Benevolence refers to the degree of alignment of the trustees and trusters' intents. Our first hypothesis was related to the reliability condition. We predicted that high reliability will lead to higher positive emotions and lower negative emotions. Our results supported the hypothesis. Our second and third hypotheses were about the risk and the partner type condition. We predicted that high risk will lead to lower positive emotions and higher negative emotions. And human partner condition will lead to higher positive emotions and lower negative emotions compared to the automation condition. However, the results did not support the hypothesis H2A, H2B, H3A, and H3B. Regarding the mediating effects of emotions, we had three hypotheses: that emotions will mediate the effect of reliability, risk, and partner type on the trustworthiness perceptions. To establish mediation, an independent variable must predict the mediator variable. Since our hypothesis H2A, H2B, and H3A and H3B were not supported, that is, risk and partner type condition did not affect the emotions, we conclude that emotions did not mediate the effects of these two variables on trust. However, since we found that the reliability condition predicted emotions, we tested the mediating effects of emotions on the reliability and the trust relationships. Regarding the mediating effect of the positive emotions on the reliability and the perceived ability relationship, on the left figure we see that the reliability affects the perceived ability of the partner. The total effect is 1.58. On the right figure, when we include the positive emotions in the mediation model, we see that the reliability affects the perceived ability in two different paths. One is the direct path with effect 0.46, also in the indirect path through the positive emotions. That is, the positive emotions mediate the effects of reliability on the perceived ability. We observed that the positive emotions and the anxiety emotions mediate the effect of the reliability on the perceived ability of the partner. However, the hostility and the loneliness emotions do not mediate the relationships. We also observed that the positive, the hostility, and the anxiety emotions mediate the effect of the reliability on the perceived integrity. Finally, we observed that only the positive emotions mediate the effect of reliability on the perceived benevolence, and the negative emotions do not mediate the relationships. A major contribution of our study is that it identifies specific discrete integral emotions instead of general positive negative emotions. Also, the study identifies the differential mediating effect of different types of emotions on different perceived trustworthiness characteristics. Specifically, we identified that positive emotions mediated the effect of reliability on all three trust perceptions. However, different types of negative emotions had varying mediating effects on the trust characteristics. For example, despite being a negative valence emotion, the loneliness emotions did not mediate any of the trustworthiness perceptions. In contrast, although the anxiety emotions mediated the ability and the integrity perceptions, they did not mediate the perceived benevolence. The findings of our study can be utilized in designing interactive systems to engender an appropriate level of trust. Appropriate trust calibration may require repairing or increasing trust in a highly reliable system. Also, it may require dampening or decreasing trust in a less or unreliable system. Our findings suggest that designing interactive systems, keeping the mediating effect of emotion in mind, will facilitate appropriate trust calibration. For example, lately there is a surge in designing user interactions to maximize positive experiences. Though improving user experience and positive emotions are important, it can generate an inappropriate level of high trust in a possibly unreliable system, which can have severe consequences. To learn more about the study, please read the paper and feel free to email me if you have any questions, comments, and suggestions. Thank you.